Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Nina's Chelsea Corner. If you're new round here, I just got back from the Emirates Stadium after Chelsea lost 1-0 to Arsenal. I must say, guys, I did not enjoy that game. It was, and look, for different reasons. When I went last year, we lost 5-0. Of course, I didn't enjoy that. But today, the football was just so dire, and the quality in both sides was just so subpar that it made this derby really just feel meh. Like, you know, you don't want to walk away from a derby feeling like meh, but both teams just really, yeah, didn't give much, did they? And I'm only going to speak, of course, from my point of view, but goodness me, that was, just very underwhelming. I mean, at times I was just sat there and I was just thinking, like, Chelsea, give me something, at least look remotely interested and up for this derby. But yeah, conceded in a very silly way. And actually, let's just kind of go back to the beginning and before the match anyway, because of course, Cole Palmer wasn't in the squad, full stop. And sadly, we're going to have to see what happens with him. He's going to have a scan, of course, and we'll see whether he'd be back after the international break, because otherwise that's going to be a huge blow. And even today, it still felt like, you know, having Palmer there, yes, he has had a goal drought and he hasn't been contributing as much as he has previously, but at the same time, just having him there to switch things up, bring a little bit of a spark, yeah, even that was just completely gone, and we had really none of it in this team. Apart from that, I really didn't have any other issues with the lineup. I mean, we're not spoilt for choice, guys, these days. We do still have injuries, but good to see Fofana and James obviously back in there. I thought we might see a bit more of Lavia today, but we didn't, so clearly it's just a case of easing him back in slowly. But overall, as expected, we know what Maresca's been doing with Neto recently. We know that Jadon Sancho, of course, is in favour now when, again, other injuries in those respective areas. Nkunku, again, another one that has really kind of split opinion recently, and still for me, really just didn't give anything. So overall, I saw what the vision was, and obviously we had Enzo Fernandez kind of playing in that 10 role. He was often the furthest man up forward, especially when we were just lobbing forwards, like balls forward. I didn't understand really what that was, you know. In some cases, okay, because in the opening kind of early exchanges of the game, we really could not keep possession. We literally didn't have the ball. And if we did, we couldn't string more than 2 or 3 passes, literally without exaggerating. And so, of course, then it seemed like we reverted to that kind of just bomb a forward ball and just try and chase it. Anyone, Neto, Enzo, whoever. And of course, then you're in a position where they have no help. And let's be real, how are Enzo and Neto supposed to compete aerially with Saliba and Gabriel? Like, it just can't happen. So it was almost like, well, neither kind of game plan was working, and we just looked erratic in every sense of the word. Like, we didn't know what we were doing on the ball, off the ball as well. Arsenal were pressing high, and yes, still, like, they weren't at their best, but they still kind of, you know, made those runs, and where they were kind of overturning us in midfield, they still managed to try and get a shot off. Yes, they were off target, but still, we weren't doing that. So it was only until like the later stages of the first half that we started to get a little bit more in there, and of course, like Marco Correa was bringing the energy there, and there was a moment where it literally just kind of was wide, and I thought that was a goal from where, I thought it was going in from where I was sat, but it wasn't. And yeah, so I thought, okay, it's 1-0 at half time. We get to regroup, maybe come out in the second half looking better, hungrier. But I just couldn't help but feel there was this kind of sense of fear. And let me know if you guys think this as well. But it looked like we were afraid at times, and especially, you know, when we conceded that goal, it kind of seemed like we made it our mission to not concede a second, and it looked like that's literally what we were trying to do, because again, we were so void of creativity moving forward, and it just really was, yeah, it was a tough watch, guys, I'll tell you that at some point. And it looked like, yeah, we were just trying to end the game 1-0. So it looked like we were kind of trying to protect the result as if we were the ones that 1-0 up. And let's be real, we were playing into the hands of Arsenal that way, because they don't have a problem to sit back and defend, you know, and they can do that and then still hit us on the counter if they need to. So again, it was almost like we didn't have a way to kind of outsmart a very, very subpar Arsenal side. So again, what does that say about us? I think it says more about us than them, if anything. And, you know, Alex and I were talking, and Alex said it didn't really seem like Arsenal fans celebrated that much. And I just thought, like, this is just such a mid game between two teams, one that was coming into the season to challenge for the title and hopefully win it, and another that, you know, wants to get back into Champions League football after having very poor seasons. So the disparity, yet we still just didn't look like we were playing a London derby. That's just how I can describe it. And even the atmosphere as well, guys, like, it was a little bit disappointing. It wasn't great. At least our away atmospheres have been better. But yeah, overall, at times so standoffish, like literally all behind the ball. So whenever we did get the ball up into the kind of danger areas, well, nobody was really taking it upon themselves to try and make a run in behind, be a little bit more kind of brave to take a risk to do something, because that's usually what you get from Parma. And again, nobody was there to do that today. I thought, you know, saw great kind of glimpses of Enzo Fernandez at times and some of the kind of balls and stuff, but again, just always that lack of kind of, what's the word, conviction with what we were doing. So really, really poor. Sancho, you know, he was collecting it on the flanks. He was kind of doing this thing where he was rotating and switching it, and we were just doing this kind of switching of the flanks for him. But again, it was like, you dribble, great, but then that last kind of moment, what do you do? Because by the time, you know, you're through and you've dribbled the ball, you take on your man, but then you decide to just sit and wait. Well, that's when you've invited the whole of Arsenal's team back, and then we have to kind of let it and recycle it back into midfield. So that's the kind of biggest problem I have playing this way. So yeah, just not great overall. There was really nothing going on up top or just further ahead, and sadly, yeah, we literally did not cause any threat to Raya, I don't think, at all today. Midfield again, so easily overturned. I thought Lavia coming on maybe earlier, or just actually starting. I know he's not completely fit, so of course there is a question mark there, but just a little bit more kind of physicality in midfield would have done us a little bit better today. Ball carrying as well, because again, we struggled with the press a lot. And yeah, Caicedo was, you know, again, Caicedo being the player he is, of course, because of how much he's progressed, he does get marked a lot more nowadays, and it's a lot easier. You could see when he has the ball, he was getting doubled up on, even tripled up on at times, and hard for him to get out these tight spaces, and I don't think he had the best support from his environment as well, to be quite honest with you. Defence, I think, you know, at times, again, individually, you could call out each player for individual errors, like Badiashile made me concerned in many occasions, because again, it's like, I can see that you don't feel comfortable in that back line, and again, can I blame you? So who are we looking at here? Again, how recruitment was done and how we collected players, but at times, yeah, okay, he made the few clearances, I'll give him that, but at the same time, there were more shaky and nervous moments, or moments where he gave the ball away, than good moments. So again, I'm not too sure. Reece James, of course, playing in midfield. That was a very interesting kind of, I mean, look, guys, we all know that Reece James, sadly, isn't the Reece James that used to be before all the chronic injuries that he kept picking up. He's not that fast anymore, and he does struggle, but still, I think, made some good and key interceptions at times. But again, would have liked to see more, but that just comes down to how incohesive the team was today, and we weren't really working hard for each other at all, and at times players were kind of left and hung out to dry with some of the moments that they found themselves in. Goalkeeping, Sanchez. Look, for the goal that we conceded, again, just such a silly way to concede a set piece, of course. Trust us to concede a set piece like that. But again, there were moments where Mikel Merino in the second half, he was literally an unmarked man at the far post. There was a moment where Robert Sanchez saved it, great Sanchez, and that easily could have been a second there. So why are we leaving players in those kind of areas where they are completely unmarked and have the freedom to do whatever they like? But Robert Sanchez, there was a moment, I think in the first half, where he literally gave the ball away to Martinelli. It was literally like a here you go gift, and again, I was just sat there like but yeah, guys, overall, really disappointing game to actually watch and witness. So I don't really know, am I happy that we didn't get thrashed? But I'm also disappointed, because at the end of the day, like, we have now come to this point where, you know, we need to be playing better football, and we need to kind of be buying into the way that Maresca wants us to play. And it just seems like we're not really doing anything with it. Substitutions, again, you want a goal and you're bringing on, no disrespect, KDH and Tyreek George to inspire you to a win, or, well, sorry, not to a win, to an equaliser. Again, it's just like, it just shows that we didn't really go about our business correctly. It's just how it is. But yeah, guys, poor overall. Not a great game to watch. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below as always. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you are new. Thank you so much, guys. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon.